Hello and welcome to the Trophy Trust Podcast, a weekly podcast of PlayStation trophies. I'm your host, Steve Electronic, and joining me this evening we have B-Tips,
Yellow.
Rust,
Hello.
and Unknown.
Hey.
So, good evening. How are you guys doing?
Everything's so new. We have a new host now. Where's the Brit?
No Brit this
Uh-oh,
time.
we're getting complaints already. It's only been like 10 seconds, man.
Exactly.
I don't like change. No, I'm kidding. I'm fine with it.
Like, it's been like a day, and like an hour, and it's already on chaos. So, before we go over what we're gonna do today, so we're gonna introduce our new person that's in here. Say hello, Rust.
Hello.
Hello. So, if anyone doesn't know who Rust is our screenshot master on the server. So, what that entitles that he is in charge of the game screenshot channel, and as well as a screenshot competition we're hosting. More details on that later. But tell us, Rust, anything you want to say to the lovely audience.
It was nice.
A man, a few words. I love it.
Exactly. I love him already.
Oh God.
Don't worry.
Hello.
Don't worry. Hello. Okay. Don't worry, Rust. We're always the first in everything. Don't worry. You'll get used to it. But
Yeah?
anyway,
Bye.
I love that it's already on off rails. Anyways, good evening. Let's start off by talking about generally just about everything. So, who wants to go first for Let's Play? Come on, anyone want to play? Who wants to ship in what they have played today, or this?
I guess I'll start. I've been just like the last 4 or 5 weeks. I've been on this show. I've been playing Fallout Shelter, but I have been into my inner demons, and I have started using the time exploit glitch.
Congratulations.
Which I don't remember if explained how it worked last time, but you just essentially just change the clock on your PS4 like by a day, and it just speeds up the process.
Correct.
And you get more lunch boxes. Your stuff, like finished stuff, get like stuff that you're working on, crafting guns, outfits, and stuff gets finished faster.
Mm-hmm.
Like instead of waiting a day or two, like to get to a quest or back, you can just skip all that.
Yeah.
Like especially with a lot of stuff, which I'll get into later during the tricky trophy stuff. I'll explain one specific trophy that
Mm-hmm.
it helps immensely.
Okay.
But that's all I've literally been playing. It's just Fallout Shelter, but I'm close to beating it.
That's true, and also, by the way, did you turn off the set off internet when it's connected to the internet?
No, it's still on the internet.
No, but
Just-
you know.
I know what day it's on. So
Okay, so because when you connect to the internet, it automatically syncs it up unless you disable that. So if you're going for trying to get that without changing the clock constantly, you can also just close that up so you can just make sure it's faster, you know, and you
Yeah,
don't
fine.
get and you can still keep playing online. It's that you can't play games that have the in-game clock or any timer.
I feel like Fallout has had a problem. I don't know if it's just Fallout, but because I changed the in-game clock, sometimes my PS4 will just randomly turn off. But
What?
Do you have your PS4 set to like auto turn off times? I don't even know if that's a thing anymore.
I think it's just because I went from Fallout Shelter to Fortnite, and I think it was because the in-game clock was wrong. It decided to reset it and like put it back to the original date, which is I think what it is now. So if I wanted to play Fallout Shelter again, I would have to switch it back to December, which is where I am now.
December 2018. Okay. Uh, well, since that's everything you've been playing, what about you, Rust, the new member? Come on, what have you been playing?
Yeah, I have been playing a lot of different games lately, like Warframe. Like that's my go-to
Ooh, playing
at the
Warframe.
moment. Yeah.
Are you just playing for fun, or are you trying to get at least some of the trophies in that game?
Both, pretty much.
Ah, okay.
Like I'm like killing time before Spiderman at the moment.
Oh, I see. So
I feel like I play Warframe on and off. Like sometimes I'll go for trophies, sometimes I'll just play for like I don't know a few hours and then just stop.
It's pretty good for that.
Yeah, it is pretty meaty, that game, especially when you realize that, of course, when you play what's it called, Warframe, you realize that the same developers are super nice and very responsive with their community. Like, I actually have very good props with them. So, yeah. Besides Warframe, what else have you been playing?
I tested out yesterday Destiny 2.
Ooh, Destiny.
Like that seemed like fun.
Ooh, so you're playing alone or you're playing with buddies?
Alone.
Alone.
All day.
Aw. Well, if you ever need someone to play Destiny with, I know some people that are willing to help you out with some of the trophies if you're able to, and help you like grind out some stuff.
His name's his name starts with an N, rhymes with Go Mad.
Go man, go man. It is go man. But yeah, if you have any help, we can just have him pitch you up so you can pick up with Destiny. Anything in particular with those games that you made you just choose it just to buy time, or for Spider-Man?
I had like first of Warframe is free to play. Like
Okay.
that's pretty. So I don't spend too much money
Okay.
on stuff.
I see.
Plus it had auto mode. That's a plus.
Yeah. Well, at least you're pretty much busy. Is that all of you been playing?
I tested out another free to play like that Defiance
Wait,
2050.
wait. What was the game again?
Defiance 2050.
Ooh, I've heard of Defiance before.
Yeah, my a friend of mine tried to get me into it. I remember it was like super popular back in like the PS3, like Xbox 360 days, but
Yeah, it's the same game as the PS3.
Ooh, I didn't know that they ported it over on PS4. I thought.
yeah,
that was on the
I remember
server.
a lot of my friends got into that game, but I just never got into it.
Is it still free to play on PS3, or do you actually need a
Yeah.
card disc? Huh.
A PS3, I don't know.
I believe it's free to play on PS4 as well.
Huh. Okay. I'll see what I can do with that game. But since most of you've been playing like free to play games, why not play Fallout Shelter and buy your time like B tips? Come on.
Yeah, that game is a time sink and a half, believe me. Like even if you're not using the time exploit,
Yeah.
I bet.
that game will take literal months to get the platinum if you're not doing.
If you're doing it legit and not, doing time skip like most of us here did. So, anyway, let's move on to our next. Wait, is that all of you been playing then?
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Like
Mostly like
all the
online.
new stuff. What I've been trying.
Okay, I see. Well then, let's move on to Unknown, our streamer. I know you've been playing Chain of Memories. Why do you hate yourself?
Because it's the Kingdom Hearts game, and I didn't realize that all the Kingdom Hearts games are so good, and I've never played this one before, and like I had my doubts that it was like bad.
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna lie, like I don't know, I'm just not enjoying it. Oddly enough, Kingdom Hearts game, like all the other ones are good. Like there's like probably it's definitely in my top 3 series. It might be the top 1, and this I don't know.
I don't know.
Expectations because it's Kingdom
Believe me,
Hearts.
but
But
I
I
understand.
also like I also like card games, and like, hey, Kingdom Hearts, and there's cards. How could this possibly be bad? It's like very repetitive already, and
I mean, I saw you last night trying to beat this doppelganger on trying to beat what was it called, Riku, and you were like super frustrated how you defeat him, and you just decided, okay, I'm just gonna fill my decks with this one attack, and I'm just gonna refill myself so I can, pass the deck real quickly and defeat him. And you're playing
yeah, that's
on.
basically that's like basically what you do. But I mean, it's just like you go into a fight, you'll have like a stock of cards like that, and then it's like winner. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Besides,
Like a 1 out of 10 ranking game. Like it is. I played worse. I'm just saying like it should be better just because it's cards and it's.
oh well, that game is originally a Game Boy game, so
Yeah.
take that as you will. So
I mean,
I went-
I played some good DS Kingdom Hearts games. Those are pretty good. Like, but
Recoded is not a good DS game.
That wasn't
it's
even
not
like
even
that,
a DS
that
game.
wasn't
It was like a
that wasn't
GBA.
that wasn't an original like Coded in general was originally a mobile phone game.
Oh, that's why. Huh.
And then they made it recoded on the 3DS
On the DS, not 3DS.
or the DS, whatever.
Yeah. But it's on the Nintendo system. But yeah, besides Recoded and hanging yourself, what else have you been playing?
I actually played some decent stuff that like probably most people haven't heard of. Corpses EX, which I thought was really good. It's like
Is
a
that-
twin.
Is that
With-
the tween? Oh, sorry. Is that the tween stick shooter game?
Yeah, that was one of them. I also, well, yeah, I played that. I thought that was actually really good. Like, it's really, you can just basically grind to make it like super easy in the end if you wanted to spend that much time. But I thought it was good. I mean, I kind of liked twin stick shooters though, so
So
it's amazing and like, yeah, it was just good.
So you'll probably like something like what's it called? Ultratron, that also has this twin stick shooter style game that I love.
Yeah, I
as well.
think I played that one. I think sounds
It's like-
familiar.
That's like the little bot, like purple bot that is on a giant arena that you upgrade each round. It's like a horde mode.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah. So
So
It-
I played. Oh, go on.
it sounds interesting. So I'm just gonna allowed to see what else you have been playing.
Played a game called Fae or Fee or whatever, however you pronounce that. It's actually good. I did not like the collectibles in the end because they took me like way more time than it took to actually beat the game to find. And maybe if I used a video guide, it would have been faster. But I don't know. I don't really like using video guides if I can help it because there's like collectible kind of tracker and finder in the end that you want to get a certain amount of collectibles. So I think I
Yeah.
like something to get it. Mummy Demastered, good Metroidvania game. Like I had really, really low expectations, but if someone's played a Castlevania on the GTA, like Symphony of Symphony Night on there,
No.
it is basically that with
Is it? I'm trying to remember what was the Game Boy game of Castlevania. Let me see if I can remember. But go on. I remember.
well, there were two. They had like a card system in one. The other one, anyways, it's basically that with guns. So like the entire time I was just thinking, oh, this is basically Castlevania with guns. Cryptical, another twin stick shooter. Actually, that has my tricky trophy of the week in it, and Mega Drive Genesis Collection, which I don't know if anyone's platted the one on PS3 where it was like incredibly easy. This is like, I thought this would be easier than it was for me. They just made it harder.
So
They have like these.
so
challenges
it's
now.
challenging.
Well, they have these easy things you can do in the games for the trophy itself, but then they have these challenges you have to do in the games, and you have to do all 20 of those for a trophy. And so the challenges took me many, many tries. So
Oh,
Anyway.
I see. but I think it's like the Sonic Genesis collection on PS3. That was the one. But
Yeah,
but I
this
can't.
one basically they could have called 2D beat 'em up trophy hunting. It's like you had to do like two challenges every single 2D side scrolling beat 'em up game on the on the disc. It's seriously that's half of what I spent my time on, and I'm not a fan of those. So
Oh, I see. Uh, but besides Mummy, Faye, which is made by Zoink, I like those developers, by the way.
you like the name of that developer? Zoink.
It's Zoink. Like it. They also made games like, and they're gonna make a new game. Um, what was it called? Stick It to the Man, and the new game Flipping Dead, which is like side scroller. Point and clicks, but it's like they have a humorous story, but it's like 100% not like platinum. So, and since that was like their first one of their first games, so I agree. But it's a fun game nonetheless, and the new game Flipping Dead looks incredible too. It's like cardboard cutouts, but yeah. Is that all of you been playing then?
Oh, there was Max and the Curse, which was actually also kind of surprisingly decent.
What
It was
was,
better.
what was that?
Well,
again?
it was like a 2D. You get like a. Basically, I just wanted to call the game Max and the Magic Marker, because that's basically what the game is.
Oh,
You get-
I see.
And you can draw like trees and stuff to solve puzzles, and I actually thought some of the puzzles were kind of clever,
Okay.
and they weren't hard. You didn't need to like you could figure out the solutions after a good like 5-10 minutes of thinking about it. They weren't pretty simple, but
Oh, I see. So it's much easier than the first game then.
I never played the first game.
Huh. I think that was a PC Flash game, if I'm not mistaken. Or I don't know. It's a PC game, but yeah. Is that everything then?
Yep.
Okay, so that leaves me then. So what well, the first thing I did was finish off Jack and Daxter 3, and now I moved on to Jack X Combat Racing, which is the last of the series. And I mean it, it's the last one because we don't treat that other game canon anymore. Uh, so basically, Jack X is made by Naughty Dog, and that game is basically okay. So remember that racing bit from Jack 3? Now this is a full-fledged game, and it's much like nicer to the eye. They refine some of the controls for their cars, but they use a different configuration this time around. So like the left trigger is jump instead of the L1, which is odd because they want the L1 to be the weapon system, which there's two of them now, and you have to do pickups like Mario Kart. But the difference between Mario Kart and this game is that this game has a story, and it's basically the aftermath of what happened in Jack 2, with one of the main villains dying, left a will that forced Jack and their friends to basically race in Crash City Championship, which is a racing championship of combat racing, a sport that is basically putting people on cars with guns and then having them at it and kill each other on the track. This is the only Jack game I've not played. Like, I've played even Daxter on PSP, but this is like the only one that I've been playing like for the first time in a long time. So this will be a very, very good game. And besides that, I'm like almost finished with the story. I'm like 80% in the story. I'm just missing like a few medals so I can beat the game. But yeah, so far it's very good. It has a very interesting racing mechanic, and it does lead into like one of the more interesting stories, like what if stories that I've seen so far. And so far I've been enjoying it. Well, that's basically much about it about Jack X. So fellas, do you want to move on to the news section of the podcast then?
Sure
do it.
thing.
Yes.
Okay, so let's start off with our news dump this week. So our news dump starts with, uh, anyone is up for some horror or some Cthulhu esque like Lovecraftian horror stories? No.
I mean, I like Cthulhu as like a character,
Mm-hmm.
but I have never read any H.P. Lovecraft books.
Okay. What about you, Rust? No,
Eh,
no fun.
I'm down for some
Yeah.
spooks.
And you unknown?
Oh, what's a Cthulhu?
Okay. Okay, so let's go on and see it because a new game for PS4 called Call of Cthulhu gets an official release date on October 29th. Now, Call of Cthulhu is a very old ass game that was now, relicensed and released on coming like late this year, which is gonna be great. So it's basically a first-person horror game, and it's gonna be mainly focused around the myth of Cthulhu, this mystical being that basically turns everyone insane when he is heard or seen. It is a very, very good interpretation of the story, and so far it looks very promising. The character goes insane after reaching a town which is possessed by the mythical creature.
I
So,
could have sworn this game has been out already.
yeah, it's an old. I feel like it's an old ass game that has been.
It's like an old PC game, but I think that they just decided to make it for the PS4 now, just to try and get people into it.
Yeah, but it looks.
I mean,
looks
they've had a
pretty
lot. They have a lot of games actually on PC that come to PS4, and they've been on PC for years, and I've never heard of them until they're on PS4. Then you look, and you're like, oh, it's been on PC for like 3 years.
Yeah, I've heard of this Call of Cthulhu game on the PC, and I watched like some of it.
Mhm.
It's like a first-person shooter, like walking kind of thing, but there are like segments where you have to like run and hide and stuff. But
Yeah. So it's basically much akin like that, but in this case, it's more like the insane factor of it that it calls like upon amnesia horror tropes, but it's much more, like visually more pleasing. Like I've seen the trailer and it looks amazing, and it's something like I would go for, but I'm not sure if you guys are into this type of horror.
I'll have to see more on it. Like if it has trophies, I'll check the trophy list. I'll watch some gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've played games like Outlast and stuff before, so I mean, if it's kind of similar to that, then not Outlast. I'm sorry, Amnesia.
Okay.
Like I got the Amnesia collection on PS Plus when it was free, like a few months back,
Oh,
and I played through all 3 games.
yeah.
So if it's anything of similar like story and horror, then maybe I'll get it.
Okay. Any of you two similar opinions or
I'm
contrast?
not the biggest FPS fan, so
Mm.
terribly
Oh.
excited.
I don't know if it's a first-person shooter. I haven't
not-
seen any gunplay.
It's not. It's not.
Oh, just first-person perspective.
Yeah, it's like a walking.
Not the biggest
sim.
fan.
It's like a walking sim, but it's mostly like for horror. And it's mostly like avoiding the creatures as if they pop out. But no, I am not seeing any new gameplay besides the story that has been shown so far. Rust.
Yeah. Like I want to see more before I decide.
Okay, I see. Well, moving on from that, we'll move on to Germany. So why are we on Germany now? So let's go on by saying that whenever you pre-order a game, they always label an advertisement as saying a placeholder date or a placeholder time frame. You know how each game is like put in a quarterly section of a year. So whenever it's like quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, or quarter 4. And on those quarters, it's like spring, summer, fall, or winter. And in the case for Germany, they decided to ban outright whenever there is a release date, a vague one like let's say spring, summer, fall, or winter. they cannot no longer do that anymore. They have to either say the release date or say nothing at all. So it's something interesting, but it's only applicable for pre-orders. So if a game is up for pre-order, you cannot say, "Oh, it's coming spring" or "It's coming September of this year." Okay, so what do you guys think about this? Should more countries adopt this practice, or do you feel like it's something that they should just keep secret?
I wish
Or what
America
they
did this.
Wait, okay,
I
so who wants to go first?
You can go B tips.
Um, it's just after reading through the article, it's just I feel like America should be like trying to get that kind of practice in. I mean, you honestly shouldn't be able to announce the game and then release it like 3 years down the line. It's just like give it to us when it's close to finished, and like make sure you have all your play testers, test it, check for bugs, and just release a good finished product. Just don't like announce it years down the line and then release just like a broken product to us. It's just I feel like I agree with Germany on that aspect. I mean America should probably do it. Well, just other countries in general should just do it more.
Okay. But
Well,
oh, okay. So now you want to say something?
I was gonna say the thing is like, what's the issue? Like people going to GameStop or whatever it's called in Germany. I don't know. Maybe they have GameStop in Germany, and then like complaining because they pre-ordered a game and it doesn't come and it gets delayed, and then they're throwing fits or whatever. Like, is that what started making it or?
I believe the banning is mostly because they want honesty for their game releases. So they can't just outright say we're gonna delay it, because if it's like a placeholder, they have to like delay it eventually instead of like put it on their like a specific release date. So they can't just wiggle around the release date. So they can't just say we're gonna pre-order this content, but we don't know when that content is gonna release. So it's better for consumers to let them know when it's coming out, so that there is some honesty, like how Kickstarter campaigns work. Kickstarter works in the same vein that there has to be a certain date time frame that you're trying to make this project and how it's gonna work. I feel like they're trying to do the same so that people get their content out faster instead of like hogging pre-orders, and then the project is suddenly scrapped or canceled at last minute, because that has happened.
Yeah, but they can still pre-order. They can still pre-order the game. It sounds like they just are not allowed to, which isn't fair because the people can just go online and see, hey, when's it gonna release? The dev's gonna say it on their website because all the other countries will be able to say that.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think it's gonna matter too much, honestly.
But it's something interesting to talk about. Russ, do you want anything else to chip in?
like I say fair enough. Like
Mm-hmm.
like
Okay.
I like see a web like a website who
Oh,
sell pre-orders for games that God knows when they come out.
okay.
I can
Also,
understand this.
like,
Yeah, go on.
So go on. Unknown.
oh, I thought, okay, never mind. I was at this point, I don't take any release apart. Like, even when the Cage 3 date got released, I'm still joking about the fact that I don't think that's the real date because I don't think it's if it gets delayed, not be surprised. And it's like literally every game. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
That
it's the heart no matter what it is.
Yeah.
that is never coming out.
It's like oh, it's right on our grasp. Like we only have to wait until like the 13th month of the year. So yes, I meant that. So we'll hopefully see more details when it comes like to fruition. But for the most part, like at least that's a release date, not like a vague release date like spring 2018. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough.
so which is something that Germany wants to get rid of.
You may as well just say the game will release when the planets all align.
That's another good one. Oh well. Moving on to our final story, we're just gonna do something different. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna focus about Spider-Man. So this is like an open discussion. There's a bunch of new stuff that was released for Spider-Man, but we want to focus on some things like consoles, the new outfits, voice actors. But we also want to introduce some ideas of what some of the trophies for that game is going to be about. So anyone want to start with Spider-Man? Russ, do you want to go? Do you want to go in first?
I'm gonna have some fun with that
Okay.
in the screenshot channel.
Mm-hmm.
Because great.
Yes. But do you have any ideas that you want to put out there with Spider-Man at the moment besides having like genuine fun with it? Like, talk about the new console or the outfits, whatever.
I think those like there are some 3 different
Mm-hmm.
like outfits. Like 2 of them look really great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about the last one they showed, the glowing one.
Okay.
The new console looks pretty nice.
Yeah, it does look pretty awesome, especially when you like consider how, how the color red chrome looks on the PS4 Pro with the giant Spider-Man logo on top, and the controller with the very similar layout, which is like black, red, and white for the buttons. So it normally looks very very finished.
Yeah, I'm not sure about those white joysticks, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else want to chip in on this conversation? Like the
I
console
can.
itself?
On that console, it is way too red. Way too red. That's my issue. It is. Yeah, it is. I don't know.
It's completely
Like
red.
I was saying earlier, my console's gray, black, silver, and the only console I would probably ever consider special edition is KH3.
Okay, because it's like it fits all your criteria, like black, gray,
And it's KH, so
and also KH. Yeah, exactly. What about you, B-Tups? You got something to say?
I am absolutely looking forward to the game. I still need to pre-order it, but I'm excited, about because Yuri Lowenthal is voicing Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Just the game looks amazing. The PS4 looks like if I wasn't hoping, like I'm holding out hope for the Kingdom Hearts 3 Pro Edition.
Mm-hmm.
If that wasn't coming out anytime soon, I would absolutely go for the Spider-Man one, even though it would literally be the first console I've ever owned that was like a different color than black.
Yeah.
But like everything about the game, I'm super excited for.
Did you know that Laura Bailey is gonna be voicing Mary Jane on that game?
I did hear about that, and that's also pretty. That's also pretty cool because he voices a lot, and I mean a lot of female roles.
A lot.
A lot.
She's pretty much like the Nolan North, the Troy Baker of like voice acting now. She's like you can't name. I couldn't name you 5 games that she's like not in.
Ooh, that's well. I mean, besides maybe like indie games, I don't know any AAA games that she probably has never voiced on.
I could give you like 5 voice actors who I believe like you couldn't name me a single game that like one of those 5 are not in. But that's for another day.
Yeah, but personally, like I like Laura Bailey that she was voicing Fetch on Infamous last time we saw her voice something, I believe, and she's pretty nice. Like even her and Travis Willingham, her husband, they're fantastic voice actors in their own right. Like
Yeah.
it's basically
Yes, they are.
yeah, especially Travis with singing the in the Devil in Saints Row Get Out of Hell. Like that
I
is
think Travis Willingham. Like I think the first time I actually, because he's been plenty of video games, but I think the first time I actually learned his name was when he voiced Troy Baker's like brother character in Infamous Second Son.
oh yeah. What's it called? I'm trying to remember the name. It's
But like the main character's brother, essentially.
yeah, I know, but I'm trying to remember the name of the character, the said character. But now I
I can.
can't remember.
Hold on.
It's it's probably
Reki.
Reggie. Thank you.
Yeah, Reggie.
Thank you. But yeah, he's a fantastic voice actor along with his wife, and I'm surprised he didn't join in for Harry Osborn or any other voice acting. You know?
Yeah, he would have been an amazing like villain, or just like Peter's like friend or something. It would have been, or Eddie Brock. I mean, Venom might not even be in the game, but just having Eddie Brock in the game, like
He could
voiced by Travis.
he could be Rhino from Rhino. I don't
He
know.
could. I mean, Rhino's Russian, but
Yeah, but it depends. We could see how it could work, but it's like the voice acting at least sounds they have a solid cast already with Yuri and Laura Bailey now. I just wonder who else might be joining the fray, but so far it's looking promising.
yeah, I can't wait to hear like all the other characters.
Yeah. But I do like something else about this new Spider-Man game, which is the outfits they introduced lately. Like, they introduced the classic Spider-Man suit, which looks perfect, beautiful.
Oh man, there was an old Spider-Man game back on the PS1 that I cannot remember the name of, but it had you swinging across like rooftops because the entire like New York City was covered in this gas or whatever, and like it used to have so many different outfits from the comic books, like that you could unlock through like I guess just beating the game and like doing specific stuff.
No, it's called
But-
Spider-Man PS1. And sorry for yeah, I know this because I've seen a resurgence of videos talking about the
Yeah.
subject.
I'm hoping like skin like clothes like that, costumes like that appear in the game, like the old symbiote Spider-Man, like Noir Spider-Man and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it certainly looks promising, especially like the new one that got released, which was like a chrome version of the Spider-Man outfit. Not sure if you guys saw this like new Spider-Man outfit they revealed.
Is it the one glow in the dark one?
I think it is. Let me see if I can find a picture of it because it looks very very amazing. It's like a chrome-esque type of version of the Spider-Man outfit. Like it like glows in the it has like glow in the dark like headlights on the side. Let me see if I can pull up a picture because it looks fantastic, honestly. Like I just posted it already on over here, so
Yeah, that's the one.
yeah, that looks amazing. Yeah, that's the last
It looks
one.
funny about something. Looks funny about Spider-Man's helmet.
I mean,
What?
it looks like a visor.
It looks like a helmet to me.
The hell.
It reminds me of like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, almost. Or no, not those movies. Like the Andrew Garfield one. The
Amazing Spider-Man.
yeah, like when before he dons the actual suit, he has like this red thing, like red hood over his face with like the black glasses. It kind of reminds me of that.
Oh, I should look that up. I posted that again post production.
He had like a red ski mask over his face, and he just had like black sunglasses just covering his eyes. It kind of looks similar to that.
I have to find that because that's a weird. I can't find a picture right now, but I'll see if I can find it later. But yeah, it looks awesome. And especially like all these pre-order costumes can also be unlocked inside the actual game, so you don't actually have to like pre-order immediately. But when you do pre-order, it's already available to you. So it's always
I'm
fun.
so for the Iron Spider.
Yeah. Oh, that Iron Spider suit looks awesome.
That's Infinity War one.
Yeah, that's that one. That's the one.
That's nice.
I really hope they have the black and white iron suit they used in that game that you mentioned, the PS1 Spider-Man game. But yeah, it certainly looks fun. Now, let's finally talk about some trophy ideas, boys. Any of you guys have any ideas of what kind of trophies we'll be encountering in this game?
Oh, I can already tell you one that I already. Is in the game, you're allowed to take pictures.
Yeah.
I can already
Yeah.
tell you straight away that there is going to be a trophy for like hitting all of the like camera spots, like taking pictures at all these spots and getting like a specific picture in all the spots.
Oh, so
I'm down.
It's probably gonna be like for the it's gonna be for like his work, like J. Jonah Jameson.
so like pictures for like snaps for Peter Parker to use and like the covers of the actual like news clips.
I meant just like it's a form of collectible. He just has to take like pictures. Probably has to do it for work. Probably like I don't know if there's a money thing in the game, but
I doubt it, but I do.
like you probably unlock like a costume for taking all the pictures or something.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I was gonna say collectibles, and more collectibles are what I expect.
I
Hey,
mean,
you probably are on.
Given how big New York is, probably.
yeah. I mean,
That sounds like
na-
fun.
naturally more people will like climb up the skyscrapers first and take pictures of the sunset. But it's like if I were to make like camera, I would like to do it like how Infamous did it. Like Infamous had like in Infamous Second Son, mind you, you can do graffiti in like the sense of like a mini game. So imagine like Spider-Man posing for a photo and then actually having a timer to like set it off and like take the picture. And that will be like a collectible. And it will be like a collectible screenshot per se. You know?
I wouldn't be surprised if like pictures you take end up being like loading screens, if there are any loading screens in the game to be had.
I mean, mission loading screens sound awesome, honestly. But yeah, it's certainly one of my favorite things to be added on the new Spider-Man game.
I don't know. Mission loading screens do not sound awesome.
I mean, you can hide
Any
it-
loading screen doesn't sound good to me.
honestly, what's it called? Insomniac are very like chill by hiding their loading screens most of the time. Like in Ratchet and Clank, you see the ship like moving around in space before landing to the next planet. And whenever a new area opens up, it like loads up a door, but it's not like
Yeah, some of those doors take a long time to open.
I know, but it's how they mask it, so it feels natural, compared to something like an actual loading screen. You know,
Skyrim.
exactly like Skyrim. Like oh, pops in, pops out. Like that was kind of wait what? You know, so it
I
feels.
still see that dragon symbol in the lower right Skyrim screen. Most memorable part of the game.
Yeah. But anyone who wants to like chip in on some trophies that might pop up besides some story-based trophies?
That I was gonna
I'm-
say like finish the game on hard or whatever hero difficulty has potential, although like God of War and stuff games seem to be not doing that as much anymore.
No.
I'm
because-
pretty sure.
Assassin's Creed I don't think had it. God of War didn't have it.
No. Rust, you want to say something?
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be pretty accessible.
Hmm.
Like games have been like God of War. Like I agree with Unknown.
Mm-hmm. Like something like God of War that it's like collectibles in an open-ended area, and you like collect.
I mean, like trophies are gonna be like very accessible.
Oh, accessible. Oh, I see. See, it's like
Also,
Huh?
Go on.
Like nothing too hard.
Nothing too hard, but something like simple enough to like many people will actually go ahead and platinum it. Yeah, I can
I'm
see that.
I'm expecting some difficulty based trophies, like beating it on like I'm gonna guess like superhero difficulty, and that's like very hard mode.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, maybe it also could be like
A new game plus.
play it in superhero mode, and it's just a joke. Have max upgraded character, just like maybe the final boss is somewhat challenging, but
Yeah. Or I don't feel like having a boss like miscellaneous boss like trophy. You know, like beat the vulture by doing X or something. Or beat Electro by doing something. You know?
beat every boss without getting hit.
No.
Trophy for
No.
I know somebody who
Good.
was like that.
Oh my god.
Trophy designers have learned their lesson when it comes to like doing defeat X without taking a single hit.
Yeah, I've seen
You
that.
don't really see that in trophies nowadays.
Yeah, like the last generation did that, and many people have been like, haven't been that very happy with it, myself included. And I would like to just see like, oh, defeat this enemy, like something like how Batman does it, which you defeat a
Yeah.
enemy on Batman, and you get a trophy based on that enemy. Especially like villains, main villains.
I don't know. I haven't seen too many trophies about not getting hit in boss fights. Maybe in like 2D platforms, but that's about it.
I've seen some in there's one in
There was one in Hat in Time, and that was it. That was all I can think of.
I mean,
recently.
but that one was basically you had 1 HP, so you were forced not to get that. So
Yeah, so it was basically beat any boss without getting hit.
exactly. But some of the like I don't feel like Spider-Man's gonna be that way. I feel like Spider-Man's gonna be mostly like webbing around. I don't feel like there's gonna be any more missable trophies. But I do feel like there's gonna be side missions, because that's always something fun to have. Especially something like, okay, let's this citizen is crying for help, and then this villain from this obscure Spider-Man comic comes out and says his name, does some stuff. Spider-Man beats him, and then you get a trophy.
Yeah, I mean, those were in the last game. They were like, put out the fire in this building, go into this building, rescue some dude, come do that like 15 times across the city.
I mean, they're gonna be more creative about it, not just like fires everywhere.
I don't know. I'm thinking it's gonna be maybe 4 instances of things, and then do each of those things like 15 to 20 times. That's what I'm expecting.
I mean,
I just. Yeah. I just hope there's not like time sciences or anything like that.
oh, actually, yeah, that will be awful. You know what will be awful if it does, like a collectible like Amazing Spider-Man 2, like thinking about
Is that the
something like,
PS3 one?
yeah, that's the PS3 one.
Yeah, that one has so many collectibles. That was the worst part of that game.
Yeah, but at least it's like it was like comic.
Oh, it's also gonna have collectibles in the city. Like go around and collect all the Spider-Man or something, all the buildings and just like all over the map. Kind of like Saints Row puzzles.
oh,
stuff.
fuck.
I bet that's gonna be in the game.
Oh, don't say that.
You
Don't
know
say
the whole map is just gonna be covered and stuff like that.
that. Yeah.
like- Save these citizens, pick up all these items. I think in Amazing Spider-Man 2, it took me, or was it Amazing Spider-Man? There were 2 that were on PS3. No one was on PS3 and PS4.
There's a
but
lot of
those-
Spider-Man games.
I remember it took me like 3 hours to just go get all the web around the city and just get all of those collectibles. They weren't even like admission things. They were just whatever's like floating in the city or whatever.
Yeah, but it's something interesting to know about when it comes to like trophies that come out in Spider-Man as well. You could probably say something like defeat enemies in a certain way. Like take down 5 enemies stealthily, or because there's a stealth mechanic in the actual game, or defeat enemies with X amount of enemies using this gadget. Like there's some gadget has been revealed, like you can web enemies by surprise. Like maybe that's gonna be a trophy or something like that.
Defeat a total of 200, 500 enemies.
I
500.
wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like combo-based ones, like in Batman, Arkham, like Arkham City,
Oh,
where you have to like chain together like multiple moves at once. Like I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a combo builder thing that you have to try and get.
Get a combo of 200 or whatever.
that, or maybe like no. I feel like B Tips is referring to like use one gadget of every single one in a single combo.
Like chain them together.
Yeah, like in Batman Arkham, every single Batman Arkham game has this. Like you have to use all the gadgets in one singular combo in order to like pull it off, and use all the moves as well. Like you have to like stun, punch, jump on top, use the grappling, throw a batarang, use the shock, and then like what's the other one? And then take them down in any way, like the ground takedowns. I think that was one of the combos that you have to do. I could be misremembering, but that was basically it. But yeah, anyone else wants to chip in on some trophy ideas before we move
I'm gonna
on?
go with a combo of 200.
Combo of 200.
It's gonna be incredibly easy. You're gonna go to you're gonna go to the certain and just same move over and over and easily get it.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a trophy for like hanging out with MJ a certain amount of times, or showing up at work like a certain amount of times, just so you don't piss off Jameson.
So you don't get fired, lose all your funds, and can't afford to be Spider-Man anymore.
Oh, that would be awesome. Like, you have to like hide out as Peter Parker and roam around the city as Peter Parker instead of Spider-Man.
Yeah, because then people will put out an Amber Alert for Spider-Man or for
They
Peter
did.
Parker. Sorry, then you just
They did show that you could play as Peter Parker, so
Yeah, they did show gameplay. That's part of the story.
like showed him in school. So I'm sure like school and probably work and just hanging out with MJ like is just like part of like the daily thing.
Maybe they're setting up for be a bigger universe instead of like what they're trying to do right now and make a sequel out of it. But hopefully,
Yeah, I have heard Iron Man is gonna be in it.
I heard otherwise. I've heard that they're not gonna try to implement new characters from other DC properties. Like they only want to stick with Spider-Man, but Iron Man sounds
We
a
will see.
logical step.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if like I wouldn't be like kind of like in the PS1 Spider-Man that I mentioned. Daredevil and I think like Black Cat show up for like 4 sentences and then they disappear.
Ooh.
But I wouldn't be surprised if like people like that just show up and like give Spider-Man like exposition before disappearing again,
Yeah.
or maybe teaming up with him in maybe like a future game. But
Or like what that teaser that there's the Stark Tower on New York City. Because you can explore that.
you can go in, talk to Tony Stark for a bit. Maybe that's how you get the Iron Spider suit if you talk to him enough times.
Or you get a fetch quest that from him, and you have to do like some training, and then you get the Iron Spider suit. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it makes you like run through training courses just to get the Iron Spider suit. That'd be pretty cool, actually.
Or join the Avengers.
Oh my god, if that was a trophy, that'd be awesome. Just like joining the Avengers.
I feel like that's gonna be the ending of that game. It's like, oh, Spider-Man, you have done so much for the city. Wanna join the Avengers? Boom, 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 boom. Sequel bait.
I wouldn't be
the
surprised if
homecoming
like,
ending.
oh my god, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if like you has to stop the Hulk from like rampaging around the city. This sounds like all DLC like ideas.
I was gonna say DLC. Yes.
I have
no,
a- I-
DLC
I have a
trophies,
feeling-
I think so.
I have a feeling it probably won't happen in the main game, since I think it's all just based around just nothing but Peter Parker and Spider-Man. But
yeah.
that sounds like either like cool sequel ideas or like a potential DLC.
Exactly. What about you, Rust?
What?
You were about to say something before you were interrupted.
I was thinking that sounds like a Spider-Man Homecoming ending.
Oh yeah, that's what was I thinking. Like maybe a homage to the Spider-Man Homecoming ending. But yeah, something like that. Uh, but guys, anyone wants to chip in before we move on to our final segment of the day?
I think I'm good.
You think I get Rust? You're the most
Yeah, I'm
recent.
good.
You're good. Unknown.
Like what was
Move it on.
Okay, so let's move on to our final segment of this podcast, which is the Tricky Trophy segment. So our Tricky Trophy segment is our one of our staple ones on the show, which is basically okay. Uh, if you have an anecdote on the trophy that you have unlocked, or are you trying to unlock, and you find it's grinding, tedious, punishing at any point, then you can go ahead and tell our story here on the podcast. We have a special chat in the actual Discord itself that we also allow people to, post their own stories if you want. And additionally, we'll sometimes read them out loud here on the podcast. So let us begin with Frost with his tricky trophy of the day.
so? I I have been playing Danganronpa lately.
Which one?
The first one,
Oh,
the Trigger Happy Havoc.
oh, the first one on Vita. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
like
yeah.
that game, the main story, like all that stuff, is very good,
Mhm,
like very amazing.
mhm.
But like with the sequel, there's that extra mode. That's very extra.
Oh, you're referring to
Mm.
the
The school mode.
Oh yes. Okay, I can attest to this. So go on.
Yes. And with that,
Mhm.
trophies, like you have to get all the endings in school mode.
Mhm.
And that you will require getting all the characters maxed out, first of all,
Mhm.
like all the notes. And after that, you have to spend like 10 times with them
Oh,
in
I
the
see.
like usein tickets you get one doing some dash for Monokuma.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And that takes so long time.
yeah.
Like that's even remotely fun.
And what do you feel like it's the worst part? Is it just like finding what's the
Like
right combination,
like
or
the
oh,
pacing is the problem.
oh.
Like you do the micromanaging part,
Mhm.
and then you get to do the like the persona stuff, social link stuff.
Yeah, like you. So anyone who doesn't know, the school mode is an extra mode you unlock after you beat the first game story, and it's basically a staple on Danganronpa series, which is a what if situation, and that is basically Monokuma, which is the main bad guy, wakes you up earlier than usual, and you have to basically uh, help him out in his evil schemes, and he will let you free. So in this case, you have to put some people in different areas so they can level up and collect items to basically build the Monokumas in a certain period of time. And within that period of time, you get some tickets that you basically talk to some people on this on the game. So, and what is the biggest part of that where you attest to?
Like it's the micromanaging part. Like that's not fun for me. That's pretty boring part. Especially the first time you play it. Like that. You can't like do all the things. The required things for the Monokuma. Like it's not fun. Hello. Did it cut out again?
Sounds like we lost back.
Yeah. Did it cut out again?
Get back. Didn't work.
Yeah, I'm here. Hello? I'm back.
I'm sure it's recorded, so you don't have to worry about all that. Trying to,
It's
you don't have to
not
worry
on.
about repeating it.
Ah,
Just
I was-
randomly teleported away.
I thought I was cut out.
No, you're fine. Just decided to mute for whatever reason.
I don't know. He didn't mute. He just.
It's like he just got up and walked off. I'm
Again,
sure that's exactly what he did. He just got up and walked off.
too boring.
He probably thought you were gonna like call for time and continue talking, but he can edit all this out. Whenever he asks the next person what their tricky trophy is.
Okay, I'm back.
That was abrupt.
Sorry. My dad called me mid podcast to ask me if what was the food for the dogs.
You're cutting.
So I had to mute the mic.
Oh, every other word.
Sorry.
Oh.
I apologize. But
Alright,
Alright, it's back.
okay.
You're good now.
So in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so since that's your tricky trophy, then Rust, on Danganronpa, which is a very good game and everyone should at least try it.
It
still
is, the
need to
story
get
is very good.
Is this on Vita, by the way?
Yes, but it is also in PS4 and Steam.
Yes, and you can try it out, and if you want to play the Danganronpa games. But who wants to go next for the tricky trophies section then?
I can go.
Okay.
So mine is from Iron Cryptical. It didn't take me. It was for defeating the Phantom, which is the last boss. To beat floors 1 through 4, then start a new game plus, and then get to floor 6 and beat the dude at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too bad, but the thing is, you like each attempt at it probably takes, I don't know, hour and a half to get up to floor 6.
Mm-hmm.
It's so bad when you die like in the room before the final boss. And then the thing too is like when you get to the boss, like you're probably not gonna beat him the first time. I think I beat him the 3rd time, but he's just like 2-3 times as fast as the other bosses. And he's not super difficult, but like I said, when you get in that room the first time, you don't know what's gonna happen really, and it's just like, yeah, you're dead. Thing too is you gotta like work your way up to it. Like you get upgrades throughout the levels, the floors, and if you don't have enough, it's obviously gonna be much harder to beat him. And I had this one run. I got to floor, I think 4 or 5, and I had 0 attack upgrade drops. My other were like at 6-7 bars, and the other one was 0. I was like, how can this possibly happen? It felt really bad. But yeah, I'm gonna say it was probably that one.
Oh, okay. And so what is this game about anyway?
You're in this like, I don't know, you're in this dungeon with some floors. It's like a twin stick shooter. You kill zombies, bats, and spiders and creatures sort of like that, and pick up fruit that they drop, and you can copy fruit. And if you keep your ×8 rainbow multiplier up, you get better chance at. Well, it's not a better chance. That's how the weapon drops drop. Like the power ups drop, and I'm not 100% sure how many you need. Like, say you get like X8. I don't know, 10 times you might get an item, then maybe the next like 20 more after that you get a power up. I think that's how that works. And then you can get coins and stuff by upgrades at the shop. It's just one of those. And it was actually decent. Oh, there's also these like 2D side scroller bonus rooms that you can go in. Like you get up to this little arcade machine, it's this 2D side scroll platforming thing, collect some more coins and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's not a very long game, as long as you can beat that level 6 boss easy.
Okay. Is that everything then?
Yeah.
Okay, so B tips. What is your tricky trophy then?
Oh, this is a trophy that I had a lot of fun with,
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote. And I'm sure it's a trophy that you also had a lot of fun with since you platinumed Fallout Shelter.
Correct.
It is the Interior Designer Trophy. And the
Oh.
trophy requires you to craft all the themes in the game, and you need to have a certain amount of dwellers to get the theme like crafting station and like first. And then the next part is to get all the theme collecting either the theme pieces or just buying them outright with Nuka Quantum.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the easy part. That's the easy part. The hard part is when you actually craft these themes, they can range, and I don't like I don't hate on anybody that does the time exploit for this because this takes forever.
It takes like
Like
days.
it literally like it range from 2 to about 10 days to craft one theme. And if you're not doing the time exploit for this, then it is just an absolute nightmare. I mean, anytime your vault gets attacked by stuff, like your dwellers just like put the theme on a halt. So like
Yeah.
if you're gonna use the time exploit for anything, I highly recommend it for
Yeah.
this trophy.
Especially,
It's
especially like getting the items, like some of the materials that are super, super difficult to get.
yes, it took me a few quests to get the amount of materials needed to the amount of junk needed to make the like some of the like the later themes that take like over a week to make,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to skip several like real days. I think it was like October when I adjusted it. The time I managed to get this trophy.
Oh my
And
god.
on my PS4, it says I'm playing on December right now. So, but like I think I managed to get this like during October or like early November. But
Exactly.
it's a pain in the ass trophy.
It
Like
is.
if you're going for it legit.
But here's the thing about that trophy in particular that I have a gripe with. Uh, it's basically the items. If you're going for the Scraptastic trophy, which is scrapping 500 items, you can easily just keep the scrap like rare items, and you get some of the ones that you require for the themes. And but even though they're random, at least they give it to you. You know.
Yeah.
So there's always something fun to keep in track of. But is that everything with your trigger trophy then?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going for my trigger trophy, which is from Jack X Combat Racing, actually. Um, in the game, there's a game mode called Death Race, and Death Race is basically a you basically run around the track in endless loops until the time runs out, trying to defeat enemy like some dummy racers, and you have to kill at least 100 of them. Now it doesn't sound that bad until you realize what requires you, because um, there's some scores at the end of each death race that equivalent more than 100, and you feel like, oh, that's it, I just have to get 100 of that. No, you're supposed to get 100 kills with those race cars, and it ends up being so time consuming because you have to actively go out of your way to make sure that the cars first spawn on time, because your time is limited, and also you have to make sure that it's not the score that you're looking after, it's the actual count of the cars. So you can defeat the cars in multiple ways. You can use the infinite ammo that you have for your car, or you can just boost on top of them while also using the yellow eco weapons that there's dropped around the thing, while your dark eco is increased so you can power up your weapons. And by doing so, it makes the trophy a bit easier, but it's still not enough for the amount of tries and retries that you have to go after when going for this trophy, especially when it's something like, hey, there's this if you don't, the kills only appear until after the race is over, so you can't actively keep track of how many cars you got kills on. You only have to get the counter after you finish the race and look at the scoreboard at the end of it. So it sometimes goes from 75, which is the normal approximate amount of average, to like 87, and you're like frustrated enough because that's not the one that you're actively looking for. So it's always a bit of a pain in the ass, you know. So that is basically my tricky trophy then.
As
And
racing games generally are.
yeah, but it's fun. It's a fun racing game. And the end of it all, you know. But that leads us to the very end of the show. So, being the end of its show, we want to address some new updates regarding not only the podcast but also the server itself. So, if you haven't noticed, I am the new host of the new Trophy Trust podcast. Daziel will no longer be the host of the show. I will be for now on, and that always leads up to more longer, busier types of shows like this one. Uh, s-
Co-host.
yeah, exactly.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Who knows?
Yeah, but it basically leads up to me like now I'm head honcho basically of the podcast.
Congrats on the promotion, Vec.
Oh, thank you. So alongside that, we also have some announcements to make. First of all, we have here Rust, our screenshot master. We mentioned in the very beginning of the episode that we have a screenshot competition going around. So, Unknown, do you want to go ahead and tell the lovely audience what is this screenshot competition about?
Yeah, like it's friendly competition where you was your best screenshots in the screenshots competition channel,
Mm-hmm.
and you have chance to win 25 United States or EU PSN credits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah,
So,
so far it's gone pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
A bit rough start, but
it's something.
now it's good.
Yeah, it's like more people are joining in and actually trying more for some of these lovely screenshots. So
Yeah, they're pretty good.
yeah. Well, besides that we have like some of these screenshots now available. You can see that on our new channel, screenshot competition. We'll we'll announce the winners on Twitter as well as in the server itself. When in Hall of Fame, Russ will be judging each picture that is given to us. So, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, like I at the end of the month, I will pick top 3 best pictures
Mm-hmm.
from 3 different
Okay.
users. Yeah, and then we will do voting that last one day, and the best one obviously wins.
It all. Okay. So that.
It all like depends. Like I don't know if there's gonna be some extra prizes. That's not.
Will.
I don't know about that.
Me?
Yet.
Well, basically, I'm in the same boat. Like, I probably don't even know if there's gonna be extra prizes for any of the contest winners, but it's something.
Yeah, we will see.
We'll see more when we get to like more into the screenshot competition. But so far, so good. It's like anyone can compete. You just post your screenshot on hashtag screenshot competition. There's a limit of 15 screenshots, and you'll only pick one per each user. So that's pretty much it with basically our server itself. And now we'll move on to our plug and play. So everybody plug your stuff. Where can people find you, Rust? You screenshot master.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter, like you freeze rust or rust picks.
Rust picks.
That's my
Okay.
say, or you can just press my Discord and I have that link at there now.
Okay. We'll add it in when we get to it. So, and where can people find you, B Tips?
You can find me on Twitter at GamerBtips.
And where can people find you, Unknown?
Twitch at Mr. Unknown 65 and
And the same on Twitter.
yeah.
Perfect. And you can find me on Twitter at DVictronic. Well, fellas, this has been the Trophy Trust podcast. This is a weekly podcast that we always record every single Friday or Saturday. We're always looking for guests that want to appear on the podcast itself, so feel free to chime in. We also have the server where we host this podcast live. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at the Trophy Trust. That is the Trophy Trust. So you can follow us there, and we'll follow you up with some news updates as it goes on. Additionally, we also have the Patreon. So we normally just give this at the very end. So we normally have hosting costs for some of our for SoundCloud, and it's server hosting cost a bit much. So it's so any $1 a month will be awesome. We hope to see more people active on the actual server itself. Not only that, but also on the conversation itself on any of the social media platforms. But this has been the Trophy Trust podcast, and have a fantastic week, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
See you, everybody.